Alright, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. Today it's a 1 vs 1 on Crossing in the Woods between our pink U.S. Forces player, who gets the short end of the stick and has to be the pink player. Oh, that's always terrible. TwistedTootsy, and down at the bottom we have our yellow OKW player, Cruzz. Moving on to that first territory point. It is Crossing in the Woods, a very small map where MGs rule the area here. A victory point, and a fuel point there, and a munitions point. Same thing on the other side. We have our munitions point, a victory point, and a fuel point. Of course, that victory point in the center as well. Now we have a Kubelwagen coming out to that first territory point, that cutoff point. Moving those Stern Pioneers over to the right there, taking that. Rear echelon troops on out, followed by two riflemen. Riflemen now moving into the center of the map, going to take that victory point there. Meanwhile, riflemen came out and looks like they are going to go left, and the rear echelon troops taking the right. And TwistedTootsy, oddly enough, going mechanized company. So that is very strange indeed. Maybe he's going to get the military truck. He is going to get the military truck. This is always fun, and putting riflemen in the back of that is always a good time. The riflemen here forced those Volksgrenadiers out of there in a second. They didn't even bother to fight there, strangely enough. Even though Volksgrenadiers typically lose to riflemen, they didn't even give that a chance. Now on the right here, we have some Stern Pioneers hiding for these rear echelon troops. And I don't know if they noticed them or not. They don't. And now the Stern Pioneers inside the building there, and these rear echelon troops will not last much longer. They're going to have to retreat out of there. I don't see them really taking those at all. Now, the truck has made it down to the bottom territory point, to the cutoff point, and the rear echelon troops still holding out fairly well, but the truck is the fun stuff right now. And the truck forces away those Volksgrenadiers, does take a couple of their lives as well. So far, so good with that truck. Meanwhile, the riflemen here have taken that territory point right in front of the OKW base. Now, the rear echelon troop has been entirely lost. So a fair loss there for our U.S. Forces player to lose those rear echelon troops. The rear echelon troops do quite a bit of damage, and they also veterancy up very, very quickly. Why? I don't really know. I'm not sure if they're actually programmed to veterancy up quickly, but they always do. It's really, really odd that my rear echelon troops are always first to up vet, regardless of them being first out or not. Riflemen now running on home there. Just two men left there, and two men in the Volksgrenadier squad. These riflemen doing excellent this game. And we have a Raketenwerfer on the map here to take care of that WC-51 truck. Now the riflemen here are taking shots there from the flak emplacement, but they make it just out of the range. And now have to deal with the Volksgrenadiers here. Meanwhile, the Kubelwagen taking the munitions point there. And on the right side, it looks like that truck is coming over here with some riflemen, and it's always just so goofy and funny looking. And gonna take out these Stern Pioneers here. And meanwhile, these riflemen here down to two men and needs to retreat those out. TwistedTootsy does. And now the rear edge, or the Stern Pioneers here, doing big damage to this truck. That truck's really got to get out of there. It's very, very low, and it does. Meanwhile, the Kubelwagen taking a lot of territory here with this Kubelwagen. And now taking back that cutoff point that's cutting off all of those resources of the OKW right there. Stern Pioneers finally have to bail, and Rifleman gonna chase him a little bit here, and should be able to take that victory point as well. Gonna have to repair up that truck.
Ready for action.
And I really hope this truck survives either all or most of the game, because you rarely ever get to see mechanized company. Nobody ever really uses it. And here comes the Kubelwagen. He's going to come try and take the victory point there. He did bail this truck, which I think is probably a good idea on his point and on his part, as there's nothing really around there, but he doesn't know that, and it's probably better off back here anyway. Now the rear Western troops are taking the fuel point here. Riflemen are here as well. Could use those riflemen to take that point as well, but the rear Western troops could probably do that. No problem. Meanwhile, the riflemen over here are going to take this munitions point.
Ready to execute.
And right now, 2 Volksgrenadiers come in after the riflemen here. And is the truck going to respond over here or what? Where is it going to go? Looks like it's going to go into the center here, but there's a Raketenwerfer there.
Taking fire.
And he's going to get whacked by that Raketenwerfer. It's camoed right now. He doesn't take that Kubelwagen bait. Good for him.
We're losing a capture
Meanwhile,
point.
2 riflemen over here going to be doing tons of damage here to these wandering, meandering Volksgrenadiers. They don't even know what they're doing here. It looks like he's going to try and take that cutoff point. These rear echelon troops are about to take that point over there, which is a fairly insignificant point, but munitions and fuel are a thing, so he's going to get that. Now the riflemen here are going to force this Kubelwagen back for now. And what happened to our truck? It's all the way over here with a squad of riflemen in it. Meanwhile, riflemen are going to get inside the house. And the Volksgrenadiers come back from the top. And the Raketenwerfer's right there. He sees it. He's got to get out of there now. And he should be able to take out this truck. There's a shoe mine right there. He moves right around it. Like, great sense. I'm not sure if he's seen that shoe mine or not. If he's seen it being put down. But he moved right around that shoe mine. Very, very nice. That could have been not good, as that truck is made of paper and would have certainly exploded. Captain now on the field here for the U.S. And our OKW owns the majority of the left side of the map. Our U.S. owns practically all of the right side of the map, if you don't count this, I suppose. Now, the Volksgrenadiers here are kind of caught on the wrong side of town. They're going to have to run past these riflemen. Unfortunately, there's only 3 for these Volksgrenadiers, so they're not going to lose too much. They did lose 1. I'm actually surprised they even lost 1. But with the help of the rear echelon troops there as well. And there they go. Running on home now. The Volksgrenadiers out on the right. Going to take that territory back. And the Raketenwerfer still going strong here in the center. The rear echelon troops spy this shoe mine area here. Finishes that off. No more shoe mine danger for that WC truck. And I just love these trucks. They're so great. I think they're just so goofy. They're not like the greatest thing in the game or anything, but they're just so fun. With a squad of riflemen in the back, even though it only shows 4 of them for some reason.
Crowds are sniffing around our asses.
Meanwhile, over on the left, OKW taking the munitions point, starting to take some of the left back here. Some more of the left, rather. And now that WC truck forces away the Panzerschreck Volksgrenadier. How bold of that truck to do that. Meanwhile, we have some riflemen over here dealing with the Volksgrenadiers inside the building. And they'll have their work cut out for them. There's also some Stern Pioneers that could react as soon as they take that munitions point there.
Anti-tank gun, ready for action.
And the captain, the only thing left here. And just 2 Zooks left in that squad. Almost useless against troops. Meanwhile, the rifleman here moving off to the left, and not good. He could lose this squad here, but he's going to have to retreat past all of this, and that's not going to be good. But the Storm Pioneers were sort of in the wrong place. If they had, like, sort of juked around a little bit more, they may actually have taken out that squad there. Meanwhile, down here, the WZ truck is moving by, and it just barely misses Raketenwerfer again. There's Raketenwerfer. Get out of there, truck. Get out of there, WC. And he's going to do big damage to this Raketenwerfer. Raketenwerfer has to retreat. And now he level 2 truck. And here's something you don't see every day. Such fun. And I'm actually live casting this. I'm not casting this on Twitch or anything like that. What I mean by that is just I chose a live game to watch. I've seen Cruzz and Tootsie going at it, so I figured I would cast this. I was actually on CoH2.org and the replay website, and well, more than just a replay website, but I was on there and I didn't see too many replays that I really wanted to cast. Not that they weren't good replays, There was some that were well over, some really good ones that were well over an hour long, and I honestly didn't feel like casting that today. I am sort of on a time schedule. I just casted 2 other games, Wargame Red Dragon and Warcraft 3, so I really don't have the vocal cords right now for an hour-long cast. Now the WC truck here is going to move right past that and takes out that truck with one shot. It had a little bit of health missing on that truck, but I'm surprised that truck was taken out like that. It wasn't quite full health, but damn, that Shrek really got a hold of it. Meanwhile, we have a Schwerer Panzer headquarters coming up here, and going to be holding that section there for a while. It's going to be hard to take that out of there. Well, Stuart on the map here, my weapon of choice for my USF play, and well, quite frankly, a lot of people's, but either way. Stuart trying to juke around the Rakettenwerfer, playing the age-old game of juke the Rakettenwerfer, and forces that on home. The Stuart will now bail and will not take another Shrek. No, we'll get out of there now. No ambulance for our U.S. forces, which is somewhat odd. I always have an ambulance just chilling in the back of the base. Pretty much every time. That's sort of part of my build. I get the ambulance, then I get a captain, then I get a Stuart. In this case, he did get that WC truck, which actually served him quite well. Rifleman getting out of there, barely made it out of there with a tiny sliver of health. The captain and the rifleman now here, and I wouldn't be surprised to see an incendiary grenade land on that little cluster. However, the captain is okay at fighting. It does have one Thompson, I do believe. The captain has the Thompson. So just that does damage. Basically, the other ones aren't too great. Fallschirmjäger's now getting some extra kills there. Some extra damage in. And there is a ambulance coming now. Oh, no, he canceled the ambulance. Interesting. He does is floating a lot of resources, and I'm not even sure how he's floating that many resources. He just hasn't been losing anything, and he has a very low amount of troops. He only has 2 riflemen, the captain, rear echelon, and just now another rifleman squad. So he's had a very high amount of manpower incoming. So does the OKW to some extent. He does have 233 now compared to 226. However, that rifleman just came out, and so that means he had even more before that rifleman came out there. So he is cruising in terms of the manpower. And another Stuart is on the field here. So that's what he got that Stuart for. He actually canceled, or rather he canceled that, that's what he canceled the medevac for. And to get a second Stuart. So very interesting. I haven't seen a second Stuart play since Jove did it, I do believe, in one of my replays. Rifleman going after Fallschirmjäger's not a good idea. Going to lose this squad, and did lose the squad. Never a good idea to rush Fallschirmjägers. They just simply do way too much damage for the Rifleman to handle there at close distance. Storm Pioneers and the Volksgrenadiers force the units out of there. And now a 75 on the way for the U.S. forces. A 75 is very good on this map because of the short distance of the map and the incredible range of a 75. However, 75 is slightly, I would say it's, in my opinion, it's slightly overpriced. I think 375 is a little bit too much for it. It is good, but I'm not sure. But I do get it on this map. Whenever I play USF on this map, I usually almost always get a 75. Sometimes I actually get 2 of them. I place them back here a lot of the times, and they can usually hit a Schwerer Panzer headquarters or a battle group headquarters that somebody usually likes to put back here, and that's always a good time. Do have a tank coming out for our OKW, and looks like a Panzer IV. And here comes the Stuart Patrol, and quite a bit of DPS capable with these 2 Stuarts. And there's 2 Volksgrenadiers here, and a Raketenwerfer really needs to get that out of there. He's going to lose one of these, probably, question mark, unless he can get out of there. No, he's definitely going to lose one of those, and does. That's 75 now firing away, I think. Yes, it is firing in the center now, but the Stuart in trouble. There's a Panzer IV-J on the field now, and Tootsie's going to be in trouble with that, and he GG's out. So a fairly short replay, but I really enjoyed that WC play. The Panzer IV just basically forced him out. I think he left a little too early. I'm not sure about quitting that quickly. The 57 was over here. He could have brought that 57. The captain was all the way on the right. He could have brought the captain over as well, and didn't have a lot of fuel income, so that's probably contributed to why he left, because he only has 7 and 11. 7-11. That's funny because of the store, 7-11. But +7 is completely and utterly insufficient. It's just not going to happen. And he lost the cutoff point here too, so he had terrible amounts of income. So that contributed to why he left. This Panzer IV just really sealed the deal. Hope you guys enjoyed this replay. Somewhat short, but a good one. Didn't take too much of your time, I guess. But hope you guys enjoyed it either way, and I'll see you guys next time.